Hi, it's Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy. Now I'm going to say something and I need you to really embrace it. I don't want you to believe this is a cliche like you would hear somewhere else. But seriously, I don't want you worrying about something that hasn't happened yet, okay? I know I made that video yesterday talking about how even if you don't have hair, even if you shave it off or lose your hair young, that it won't make a difference on, you getting married. And I want to address that again. This is my follow-up video for that. See, here's the thing. Obviously, like I mentioned, I'm a couple weeks away from turning 35. I've been married 8 years and I've got basically 2 kids at this point. And I got my second child to be born on my birthday, actually. So, I mean, obviously, I escaped this whole thing about being bald or having a receding hairline and losing half my hair before I even got married. I escaped that because I was 27 when I met my wife, but my hairline really wasn't much different at that point. But here's the thing. What if, let's do a kind of a split screen timeline here. What if at age 19 when my hairline started receding, it really just started going and it started going quick? And what if by my early 20s, I had to start shaving my head because I didn't have hair? Would that have affected me meeting my wife? It could have, based on my own belief and my own confidence in myself. See, that's the thing. The older you get, and that's why I would choose to be 35 any day over being 20. And because I think a lot of you guys that subscribe to my hair videos are around age 20. That's what I'm understanding from the comments. And so 20 was one of my least favorite ages ever to live through because you're such in transition. You're not really truly quite an adult yet because your career hasn't took off. You haven't met the person you're going to marry a lot of the times. So it's a matter of there's so much you don't know yet. There's so much you haven't taught yourself yet through life experiences. But assuming that I'm 15 years older than you, I can tell you that something you learn by experience as you get older is you start to focus on the things you can control versus those you cannot control. So for example, let's say you are 20 years old and let's say you've got less hair than me, okay? Let's assume that and you're single and you're thinking, well, I want to get married eventually in a couple years or whatever, but no one will like me because I don't have hair or because I don't have as much hair. And look at all these other guys and they got more hair than me, I know it's easy to think that because I probably would have thought it too, but I didn't have a 35-year-old man telling me that it didn't matter. And I didn't have someone to explain to me why it didn't matter. Just remember what I said in my video yesterday. Women are looking for confidence. They're not looking for hair, all right? If they're looking for hair, then you might as well be judging women by their bra size or whatever you want to call it, or whatever body part you want to focus on. That's how shallow that would be if a woman judged a man strictly on his hair. I mean, do those women exist? Sure they do. But is that the majority of women? No, it's not. It's definitely not. Women are looking for confidence. That's the number one thing. They're looking for a confident man who can make them laugh and who can provide for them. Women are wired that way. You're not. You're a man. You're wired to look for different things, and they may even seem more shallow than what women look for. I don't know. The concept of, and I heard this years ago, actually by my Mexican grandma, I think is who originally told me this. She was telling me a story about Donald Trump. And I remember this, she told me this, I think in the early or mid 90s, but she was telling me that apparently one of Donald Trump's wife, I guess this would have been his second wife, she said to him, would you have still married me if I weren't beautiful? Because I guess he only marries models or something. Would you have still married me if I weren't beautiful? And then Donald Trump turns to her and said, would you have still married me if I weren't so rich? And it's funny and it's true. And I think it says a lot about how women and men are attracted to each other as adults. Because take away all the romance and ultimately at the end of it, here's what you've got. You've got a woman who's looking for security. She wants to know that she can have a family and have stability and have basically someone who's going to help her, maybe not make the most of the money out of the marriage, but it's someone who's going to provide for her on a regular basis. Like even me with my wife, she actually makes a little bit more money than I do. But it's the fact of together, we're steadily employed and we can raise a family. That means so much to a woman. And that's the kind of thing that she's looking for. Okay, so if you're thinking about dropping out of college, don't. Please finish college. Just graduate with something. Make sure you get as much education as you can. Make sure you get as steady of a job as you can, even if you don't know what you want to do for a living, because I didn't. I just got an English degree because I didn't know what else to do. And now I got a job, and life is fine, you know? But that's the thing those are the things that matter to her. I'm not saying money matters more than anything, but the ability to make money and provide, it still matters. That's one of the major things she's looking for. And again, she's making sure that you can make her laugh. And that's something I think, if you want to worry about something, worry about that. Worry about making sure that you're an interesting enough person that can keep the conversation going, and that you can entertain her. That when you go out on a date, that there's something special about what you take her out to do. That's what matters. Basically, being an entertainer, being a leader, being a provider, and being confident. Those are the things that matters. She's not going to care if you have a receding hairline and you're age 21. She's not going to care if you have less hair than me. She's not going to care if you have to shave your hair off completely and go down to a number 1 or even a 0. As long as you've got all those other things, I'm telling you, that's all that matters. And I know that because you're younger than me right now, it's hard to hear a almost 35-year-old guy saying this, because it's you can easily say, well, Nick, it was easy for you, it all came together. But again, remember, I had to teach all myself this stuff in hindsight. So what a privilege that you get to learn this today from me. I've just talked to you about the things that actually mattered. Rewind this video if you need to. Focus on those things that actually matter, because those are the things you can control, okay? You can control you being able to provide for her by having a steady job. You can control that, right? You can work hard and work smart. You can do that. You can be confident in who you are by believing in yourself, and by focusing on those things you can control. You can control being an interesting person. You can control if you have to study online conversation topics to talk about. More than anything, here's the thing. If you don't know what else to say to the girl, you can always compliment her. She loves to be told how beautiful she is. If you take her on a date, the first thing you say is how beautiful she looks. Though you talk about her in a positive thing, you don't even have to talk about yourself so much, as long as you're talking about her and asking her questions. Guess what? You're already an interesting person to her, because you're putting so much focus on her. And girls are wired that way. I mean, I don't feel that I really need a lot of attention. I know I've got my own YouTube, my own blog and all that, but I'm not looking for approval and validation from other people. I do this because I enjoy this. But I'm telling you, if you're asking a woman or a girl questions about herself and what she likes, paying attention to her, praising her for her beauty, you're already an interesting person. Okay? She's not going to have time to worry about your hair. And as far as first impressions go, she's not judging you on your hair more than anything else. If it is even in the top 10, it's going to be quickly overlooked because of all these other things we just talked about. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This is how it actually works. Forget about what's in your head, okay? Forget about that. Because what actually matters is what I'm talking about. I would know. I've got plenty of experience in this. I've lived this life. I've seen how it works. My wife and I have talked about this. She's explained this to me and verified all of this is reality. I know what I'm talking about, okay? So remember, it's not as bad as you think it is. You're going to be just fine, even if you're losing your hair at an early age. You really will be. Focus on what matters, not on what you can't control. Nick Shell, the internet receding hairline guy.